Wow, did you like my new intro? Isn't that awesome? Today I'm doing a video on a CB750 fuel tank. I'm doing some modifications to it, so check it out. Not my work. Doug here from Bessie Custom Fab. I didn't do that, I swear. I'm doing some tune-ups on this tank. The owner of it hacked it apart and welded it back together. They tried. It's not always easy when you don't have a lot of metal to work with. It's really thin stuff on these fuel tanks. This is a 1981 Honda CB750 fuel tank. It's a super sport tank. Oh, my nose is dripping. That's nice. That's really attractive. I'll just wipe it on my shirt, I guess. Good. I'm glad everyone got to see that. You're welcome. Anyway, I'll wipe my nose some more now. So what I had to do was I had to go all the way around this tank. They wanted to remove the pinch seam, which is great idea, but when you get down to something like this here, you end up with not much material to weld, and they had done some grinding and it was paper thin in some spots, so it was really difficult. Not difficult enough for me not to do it. It came out okay. I'm not worried about the inside, neither is he. What we're worried about is this profile here that you'll see from the side. If he's not worried about that, he can't be. He's gonna love this. The other thing we're doing here is removing this. You can see I've drilled out the 4 spot welds. I'm going to remove this thing. I'm going to drill them out to 3/16. I'll remove this thing. What we're doing is we're going to cut basically this section out of here, and he wants to install one of these guys. That's like the Harley Davidson style. You pop it and unturn it, unloosen, screw it, and then put it back in. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace this whole piece of tin here so everything comes out fairly flush. So that's next. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I'm going to do the other side though. There's what it looks like now. I'll show you that side. I'm going to do that side. We'll compare the two. So I've made a piece. Looks about right. Should fit on there okay. I've given a bit of a curve there to kind of fit that profile. Looks pretty good. I even cut a hole in it. Imagine that, and this thing fits in there. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. Focus. Nice low profile. I'll weld the underside so that I don't have a weld around there. So it'll be a nice clean look. And yeah, so next step, lay this out, cut it out. Yeah. Another thing before you cut this out and you're going to lay it out, I use a scribe. Whoa. My focus is shit. I use a scribe. That gives me a nice tight line. If you can see that line there, that is the outside of my plate that I'm putting on. So what I want to do is I want to cut on the inside of this scribe line on this side here. That way, if it's not fitting, I can grind a little more out or grind a little off my plate. But it's easier to take a little more off than it is to fill a gap, so keep that in mind. Scribe works well. Works even better if you have paint on there. Don't do that. Guess what? I'm back. This had a little indent there. It wasn't centered very well in the tank. Maybe that's me. I don't know. Anyway, I cut my piece out. I cut the hole and I had to shave down a little bit, but it's a super nice tight fit. And with these, I just used a hammer and dolly and maybe vice grips. No comment. And yeah, so it fits really good. Gonna weld that bung in and hopefully not warp the shit out of it. And then I'm gonna put that in. I'm gonna tack that in. It's gonna look awesome. Be right back. Okay, here we are. And that is finished. It's pretty good. I would say it's gonna need a skiff of Bondo. Hell of a lot less than that's gonna need. I'm not to the point where I'm doing Bondo-less repair or repair without filler. I'm at this point still. There's some guys out there that can do it. I'm working my way up. I think this one's not a bad example of getting close to where I want to be. The lines are pretty good. Everything went on really nice and flush. I don't want to over grind this. This tank is so thin that I'll just burn through and then I'm really fucked. So you can't over grind it. Everything was nice and flush. So he's gonna have to skiff it with Bondo. Check back. I'm gonna fill this thing in too. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. Better than this one? Well, I hope so. Okay, I've started filling in this badge location. All I did was make a little piece of 18 gauge, tack it in as tight as I could, and these little dips here, we'll just tickety tack, and then we're gonna weld it up, grind it, and I'll be right back to show you the result. It's gonna be mediocre. Okay, I'm all done. I filled in that side. I'm just shitting you. That's my side. It's not perfect, but like I said before, this material is so thin. You just can't do too much grinding or you'll wear it right through, and then you're really fucked. So this is all. That looks great. That looks good. This here was a shit ton of work. Welding all the way around that whole perimeter of the tank. A few spots in there where they had sliced it and diced it. It came out well. I don't see any pinholes. I hope there's no pinholes. Yeah, so I think he'll be happy. It looks a million times better than when he brought it in. So, Bessie Custom Fab, rock and roll. Like my videos, subscribe.